What's up, guys? Rahim Magani here, and I want to talk to you guys today about non-performing notes. So in order to do that, I'm going to back it up a little bit and tell you guys a little bit about notes, or make sure the definition of notes is completely understood. So a note can be virtually put on anything. A note meaning a promissory note. I promise to pay back such and such for set amount of money on a certain asset. Let's say if you were buying a car or buying a house or buying a boat, if you weren't paying cash for it, you're borrowing money from somewhere or somebody, and at that point a promissory note is created. So what happens to some of these promissory notes when, let's talk about financial institutions holding some of these promissory notes? There's two types of them. Well, there's several types of them, but let's talk about two types of them. One is going to be the performing side. That means these people that promise to pay the money that is owed every month. They're on time, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're considered performing notes. Banks love these things. Well, what about the other side when they're not paying? Well, those are called non-performing notes. And what I've gotten into, we'll actually speed it up a little bit now that I think that definition is pretty clear out there. If you don't understand, you're welcome to give me a call. I can try to explain it a little bit better. So let's talk about how does this help us on the residential level. Well, there's so many residential notes that are constantly created. They can't all possibly be performing. So then that leaves the question of, well, what happens to these notes? Okay, well, banks are holding on to these non-performing notes where people are not paying their balances, and you would think that the bank wouldn't really mind. Okay, you don't want to pay, that's okay. You put your money down on this house. We have this collateral, we have this, equity, and we have the collateral, we have the house. All they got to do is foreclose on it and they're good. Well, doesn't quite work that way. For the bank, their last resort is to foreclose on a property. That is their last resort. So then what really happens to these notes when they're non-performing? The banks don't want to foreclose on them. We'll talk about why later, but the banks don't want to foreclose on them. That's their last resort, and these guys aren't paying. What really happens in between? How do the banks get rid of these notes? How do they get them to start paying? How do they get their money out of these things? Well, that's where guys like me and guys like you who want to be investors get involved. And we can start talking to the banks and buying these assets from the bank. All right, take that back. We can start buying these notes directly from the bank. Now that is some cool stuff. I'm working with two different banks currently, working with multiple assets that we're working on purchasing. I've put a bid in on probably about 25 so far in the last week. The two banks that I'm currently working with, I'm sorry, I take that back. I'm working with one hedge fund and one bank currently, and that's what I did all day yesterday. I'm gonna make another video kind of explaining how I go through the process of looking through some of the assets, looking through some of the information on some of these tapes, and kind of explaining to you guys how the process works. But I'll tell you something, it is freaking cool. Anyway, stay tuned to my channel. Got a lot more coming. Super excited to share this stuff with you guys. I want you guys to be on this journey with me and kind of learn along the way. Hope to see you guys on the next video. Thanks.